welcome to the Being Healed podcast. Thank you again for all the continued support. We have made it to 1,000 downloads, which is so cool. It seems so far-fetched after season 1, but we hit it, and that is all thanks to y'all, so I appreciate it. So to celebrate, I have on my very own best friend, who I absolutely love, celebrating and hanging out, which is what we always do. We find a reason to celebrate, even though there's never a reason.
Every day.
So, Alicia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm so excited.
I'm really looking forward to it. Let's do it, I guess.
Yes. Okay, so I've just been jumping right in with everyone. There's no, we'll just jump right in.
Yeah.
Since we've been talking for about an hour already. So, how long have we been best friends?
That has always been the question, honestly.
Yeah.
I think everybody asks us that. And I don't know. I feel like we should start at the beginning. Your mother and my mother were friends. And then we must have started playing together at daycare, wasn't it?
My mom started the daycare with a few other people.
This was during Parkway days, people.
Yeah. My mom started the daycare, and we were both too young to be in it. How you gonna start a daycare and I can't be a part of it? That's crazy.
Girl, that's the main question. How was I there? I was younger than you.
Well, because I think your brothers were able to be.
Oh, and my mom just said she's going as well.
Yeah.
Probably your mom.
And my mom said she can't. And so you're going to take those two, I'll take these two.
That's the thing. Yeah, it was it was a forced friendship because my mom was like, "Hey, our daughters get along very well. Why don't I take her with me so that I can get stuff done around the house?"
Yeah,
which is fair.
That's fair.
Totally fair. Totally understandable. And it just blossomed from there. We were friends. I think I was like 2 or 3 at least. So it's been almost 27, 28 years that we've been
crazy. Yeah, because I had to be around 4 or 5. I'm trying to think of the pictures. And my 4th birthday, you're in it. So we were at least, I was at least 4.
So I think
at least 26 years.
I was going to say, it's at least 25 at the least.
Yeah. My favorite picture is my birthday party, and we're both sitting right in front of the birthday cake.
Ready for it.
Ready. Nothing's changed.
No. Now we're adults and we just go and get cake when we 100%. Want it.
Yeah, no need for a celebration. No need for anything.
We celebrate each other every day.
That's true. We give each other a reason to have sugar.
Exactly. We got through Monday. Let's go get dinner.
I don't think I don't think that's healthy. I mean, it works for us.
It is, and I love it.
I'm happy.
Correct.
So. Yeah, I was thinking about that because I'm like, I know we talk about it often, and I love the story, but I don't know that we had like a specific time. I think it literally was just one of those things where mom was like, "Yeah, can you take her?" And your mom was like, "I'd be delighted."
Absolutely. And it just flourished from there just because like we have the same personality.
Yeah.
And our moms clearly saw something at the time that they knew it was going to be a lifelong friendship or something like
They also were very similar too, I feel.
Correct. They were really good friends as well.
They were very, very similar. And you're adopted. We had adopted, or we had foster kids. Mm-hmm. So I think they also related on that, front. And it was, I don't, listen, it was a great time.
It was.
I still to this day think that I'm country in some ways, and that's thanks to y'all.
You are absolutely.
Like there are some things where I'm like,
there are things that you and I talk about that people who have only lived in the city, they don't know what
Lost
it is.
And confused.
Like I think I was talking to someone about tractor pulls, and they were like, "What actually does that mean?" And I'm like, "That's crazy," because I could probably ask Vashti, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. How do you not know what a tractor pull is?
Because you don't have them in the city. Yeah. That's unfortunate. We have carpools, which is probably not the same thing,
I mean, it's a stretch.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, that is, there are some things where I'm just like, and even like me liking country music, fully thanks to y'all.
The comfortability being out. Now, I want to say that my parents live out there. They live out in the middle of nowhere. Like,
that's great.
Across the street, dairy farm.
Yeah.
So they live out there. So when Vashti's saying country, she says country tractors going down the road.
Yeah, it's so good. You often get stopped behind one.
Absolutely.
And it's a long drive.
Absolutely.
even when I had the baby shower out there, oh my God, that was so funny. The amount of texts I got, like, am I in the right area? Mm-hmm. Yep. Follow the silos.
Yep, just keep driving.
Yep, pull in the gravel driveway. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. You're in the right place. Yeah, I got a lot of messages. But one thing I will say is everybody was like, it's so nice being out here. Like, that is one thing I think we in the city lack is like that calm, slow feel of like just country living and just again outside of the city borders.
The silence.
Yeah, like oh my gosh,
even
people were there for a long time.
Fresh air. Yes, it's just there's something about being out there that it's just so calming and relaxing.
You get the best sleep.
Oh, absolutely, because it's I come home now that I live in the city. And I'm just wiped because it's like you just get so much of that fresh air, so much of that country feel, and it's so amazing. Highly recommend going for a drive out in the country.
Oh yeah, I know greatest. Anytime I get frustrated or just like feel overwhelmed, I'll just take a drive. Mm-hmm. And I always head out towards your parents' house because I know that area versus like driving somewhere I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm gonna get stuck, and I don't know if y'all like folk. You know what I mean? I just don't know. I can always stop at your mom's house if I need to.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just being able to get out there, away from the fast-pacedness. And we're not even that fast-paced of a city.
Correct.
Like, compared to Chicago and New York. Like, we're slow-paced. But still, like, life can just get overwhelming here. And you just need to get away. Like, I love it. Anytime I can get out there, I try to.
Well, and then you have my mom, who's an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah.
And anybody that comes over, she is automatically welcoming into her home.
Yeah.
Like, let me get you something to eat. Yeah. Do you want something to drink? I mean, she is such a sweetheart. And that also is another thing too. It's just like my mom is just always there for whomever walks through the door. So
yes,
I'm saying agree. Your mom, my mom, they saw something between the two of us and they're like, they're going to be friends. We need to make sure that they stay together. And there were years where we kind of fell out of touch.
Yeah.
But it just seems when the time was needed, you know, it was like God knew when we needed each other.
100%.
Brought us back together.
Like nothing had ever even.
We just kept going like, oh, hey, how's it going? What's been going on with you?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I remember that. We ended up at the same college.
Didn't even know.
Which was so funny. But let me backtrack for a second. Did you not find it absolutely outrageous that when we talked to my dad, he had said he'd never been to your home?
I still feel like that's incorrect.
I don't think that that's true.
I feel like that is a lie.
No, for real. Because how were you just letting me go to somebody's house and you'd never been?
Clearly, they were like, oh, well...
She keeps coming back, so she's fine.
This woman that is taking our child brings her back every time, so it has to be okay.
True.
I mean, that was wild. I'm like, no, you've been here.
No, literally for the baby shower, I'm like, oh, like Donna's house. He's like, no, I don't know. Is it like in the country? I'm like,
I think even my dad was
where did you think I was? Like, what do you mean?
He said you came back every time. There was no reason to be concerned.
Somehow you still came back every time.
It's crazy. That's the crazy part. I think even my dad was just flabbergasted by the fact that he I swear he came out to the house. I don't know.
I think he has. He just doesn't remember.
I think so. At least, especially when you guys were still at Parkway.
Even with the stipers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way.
Obviously, Angel, I think your brother, too.
Yeah.
Were out there. They just said they come back every time. They're fine.
They clearly weren't worried.
Right.
That's crazy. But, okay, so... We didn't talk for a little bit, and that was simply because of circumstance.
Life.
Like, we had left Parkway. Dad started his own church. Mm-hmm. I was homeschooled, and I put that in quotes because schooling, lacked. That's okay. I did school, just, not a lot. But during that time, we hadn't really talked to each other or seen each other.
Well, that was before cell phones, really.
Right, and our parents definitely weren't giving us one.
Neither one of us had cell phones.
Yeah, no.
I think we emailed each other.
Yeah, wasn't your email like Hawk something?
It was the softball team that played Firehawk. Yep. That's what it... Oh my goodness, wow.
That's crazy. I still have mine and still use mine, so that's insane.
That's actually funny. Yeah, I think we emailed each other back and forth a few times.
I definitely think I have some. I'm going to have to find it. Because
archived?
Yeah, because my email's still active. I bet you I can find some. Oh yeah, gosh. That really was up. It's like the dark ages.
I think, yeah, it was. Like, I'm like, holy cow, that was actually before...
We Pony Express.
Pen pals.
Like, one of us was in jail. Like, what are you doing?
I'm gonna bring that back. I'm gonna send you a letter now. I'm gonna write you a letter now.
I'm gonna scream if I get an email from Alicia. Like, that is insane. No, okay, so, yes, we lost contact, kind of, throughout high school, I guess you would say.
Yeah, mostly high school, because you left Parkway, what, 7th grade, 8th grade?
Yep, 7th grade. I didn't finish
so it's kind of that high school period that we kind of lost touch. And then, I don't know if we got together at all in high school, maybe once.
I literally think it was college.
Yeah, I think maybe we
sophomore year.
Because at the time, I think we had cell phones, so I think we might have communicated a couple times, but like, again, life happened.
I mean, you were in tons of sports.
Right.
I was not. I was in college though at that point. Well, for a year maybe. Yep. And I was working a lot. I had like 3 or 4 jobs.
I remember that actually. Yeah. So I think we started like hanging out more because I ended up getting a membership at the WAC.
Oh yeah. So
that really kind of kicked it off where we were like seeing each other all the time. And then college came.
Yeah, that was bizarre. I just like, okay, to me it's just like a God moment where it's just like you said before, God literally just reunited us in a moment when it was like we both needed it. Yes. Because yes, I was still going to school in an area that I knew, but I knew no one there. And WLC, Wisconsin Lutheran, is so full of their own community.
Correct. The high school.
Yes, like all exactly like all of the Lutheran high schools, they all know each other. So going there, it was like you're definitely on the outs, not in like a we're judging you or anything. It's just, it's clear they all had previous relationships.
Had their groups of friends or acquaintances, so that it was easier of a transition for them to go from the high school into college. And you were just that person that was like me when I went from Parkway to Waterford.
Yeah.
It was like
fish out of water.
It was culture shock in a way. It was culture shock.
Yeah. So when you spotted me across the quad, which I don't even know how you saw me.
It was the bun. It was probably the bun.
100% was the bun.
I said, I know that bun.
I know the messy bun anywhere. No, seriously. You came sprinting and I was like, who is this little person running towards me? Literally jumped on me. All of my roommates were like,
thought you were getting attacked.
100% thought I was getting attacked.
Campus security or something.
It was just so funny. We had no idea each other was at that college. No. It's so bizarre. And you had 10 friends already. I was like, it's day 2 of school. How do you have so many friends?
I knew everybody at that point.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Just about, actually. By the end of that semester, I knew like everybody.
100%. And I always thought I was outgoing, and I was like, no, she's got me beat in this area. Like, I knew my 4 roommates. That was it. And I was cool with that. But also, again, I was working a lot. You were in sports, though. Right. Which was a big deal. Like, that's where half the students were.
I was running into, like, the football team, the baseball team, the basketball team, so that helped
did we have a soccer
me
team?
A lot. We did, yes. Which, I knew some of the soccer players, too.
I don't think I ever went to a game.
Oh, I didn't either.
I think I only went to football.
I never willingly went to a soccer game ever. I went to one in my life, and I'm like...
It's not it for me.
It's not my story.
It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, it's going to be a big no for me.
That is...
No offense to any soccer players, but it's just not for me. I prefer, even baseball sometimes. It's like, wow, can we throw a pitch maybe within the next 5 minutes? That would be so awesome.
It's slow.
It is. Yeah. It is. But like softball, basketball, I'm there for it.
Yeah.
So, I had a lot of friends by the end of that semester. But like the fact that neither one of us knew that we were... at that college until that moment. And I think that was such an important thing because that was also the same year that I had found out about my mom.
Right.
With her cancer.
Yeah, wow.
So it was like clearly God wanted us to be together at that time because he knew that I was going to need that additional support because here we're going. Yeah, that it's so much to deal with your first year in college.
Right.
So, I mean,
that was that first year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like, I think it was like towards the end of the first semester, and she had told Josh, because my brother was in Okinawa at the time.
Right. Wow.
And then my other brother was still here, so like she told,
right,
you know, Josh first, and then my other brother, and then she told me. So it was just like, clearly there was a plan there.
Yeah.
You know, divine intervention that I needed you in my life at that point.
Yeah.
So but it's comical in a sense that it was like the perfect timing every single time. We lost touch. We'd get together. Something big happened in either one of our lives that it was like, you are the first person that I need to tell this about.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Man, that was... Now that you mention, I'm like, oh my God, that really was. It always seems so long ago, but also so like recent, where you're just like, oh my gosh. And me having gone through something already like that,
right?
I was able to relate. And when you go through things like that, you need someone to be able to relate.
Right.
It is really hard to have that kind of conversation or have that like, this is what I'm feeling. It is very hard to have that with someone that has not walked through the same thing.
Right. And at the time, I mean, yes, I had a lot of friends or acquaintances in college, but it was like they weren't my friends to that level where I felt comfortable sharing something like that with. So it was
that's
like
very personal.
Bottling all of that up, I don't know how I would have been able to handle it.
Yeah.
Whereas at least I had you to lean on and tell you about it and kind of just vent to you about it.
Right.
That I think that immensely helped me get through that.
Yeah. And that was, that was a lot. Like I kind of, I'm thinking like in because I've now been on both sides of it, where it's like I was going through it, but then also I was walking a friend through it in some ways. I guess I wasn't doing much, but at least being there for a friend through it. It's hard to know what to do and say in those moments. If you had to say like what helped you the most, maybe there's someone that's trying to help a friend, what would you say helped you the most? Was it just simply someone being there, or was it something someone said? What do you feel helped you the most in that season?
I think for me, the most helpful thing for me was just having somebody there. Because it's like clear as day. I remember when I told you.
Yeah.
And we just kind of sat in silence. And that was so powerful for me because I felt safe to not have to fill that silence with words or with some sort of emotional reaction, because, obviously I'm not the most willing to share my emotions with anybody.
Right.
And being able to just put it all out there and then be able to just absorb it is so helpful. That was a big thing for me. I really liked that I could just sit in the moment and just absorb it.
Yeah. And I remember getting the call. Like I was freaking out because it was such an urgency in your voice that I just was like, drop everything and go. Mm-hmm. Because first off, you don't call me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not your personality. And that's part of a friendship, is knowing your friend.
Correct.
To know, like, okay, this is out of their character. Mm-hmm. This becomes priority. Right. Where it's just like, nope, I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is. I think weren't we like sitting in the car? Like, I don't even remember where we were.
I think we were in my dorm at the time.
In your dorm.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing that really helped me, was like knowing that if I call you, something is up. Like, I don't just call you just to chit chat. Like, we FaceTime now, all the time. Yeah. But, back then, it was calling, I didn't call you. We would usually just text each other or we'd run into each other or something like that. So I think too, knowing that if I picked up the phone and called you any time of day, any time of night, you were there. Yeah. You were able to know something was up. And I think, like you said, having that level of friendship, that level of, connection in a sense, really helped me through that, because it's like, okay, I know that I can get through this because I have someone here that knows me well enough to know I need help.
Yeah.
You know?
And was that something that you found easy enough to do? Like, I know even with, and I guess it just depends on the level of friendship. Like, sometimes it's like, you know, you want to say, but you just don't feel safe in the moment, or like, even like, especially if it's when it's your parents going through it, like, you don't want to talk to them about it,
right?
Because you're not trying to stress them out because they're already sick, or you know what I'm saying, like, that's just gonna immunocompromise them even more, like the stress of it all. So you don't want to talk about it with them, but then also sometimes siblings can just they're trying to process too, like you don't want to bother them with it, so you just kind of feel like you're trying to juggle feelings, but at the same time, I know, like, for me, I tried to avoid them as much as I could, especially during that season, because I didn't want it to be reality.
Absolutely.
So when you're able to have those conversations, did you feel like it was a release in some way? Did you feel more at peace about it, or it was just nice to be able to have that conversation? Because I know for me, I don't necessarily know that I felt peace. I guess in some ways I did, depending on who I spoke with. Peace came with it, and I always thought that was really interesting.
I think in that situation for me, it was I felt like I could take a breath. You know, I felt like I was holding my breath because I had one brother who lived on the other side of the world at the time. So I really didn't really have, you know, a relationship with him because he was off doing his own thing, you know, whatever. And then my other brother really, again, didn't have much of a relationship with him. You know, he had his kids, his wife, and everything like that. Already. Yeah. So, you know, it at the time, it was like, I felt like I had to deal with it alone. Yeah. But then, again, being able to pick up the phone and call you and say, I need to talk to you, like, right now. Yeah. I felt like once I said it, it was like just this big sigh, like,
got it out.
It's out there now. Like, I feel better being able to just say it. You know, sometimes you feel like some friends or some people that you do have that conversation with, or, you know, you interact with, you feel like you almost have to sugarcoat things. Yeah. Whereas you and I, we just say it like it is. Yep. And we both know it's out of complete love for each other. Yep. So it's like being able to say that and do that with a person, it's like, I feel so much better.
Yeah. I think that's, I think it's important to have that person or people even, that you're able to just be absolutely like, you know, yourself, or blatantly honest with, or whether it's about them or about a situation, or because sometimes I feel like we can bottle that up and then we get sick, we, you know, go off, and it was something like happens. So you actually weren't the issue, but I have all this in me that needed to come out, and sorry, you got the bad end of it. You know, I think that is what's so important sometimes in friendship, is it's just simply being there. I remember, like, I didn't bring it up unless you brought it up, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it was on your terms because it was your situation you were going through. And it's important to understand that about a friendship, like when it's appropriate and when it's not, because sometimes it's still not appropriate to bring something up or discuss something, especially when they're the ones going through it.
Right. They're not ready to verbalize it or whatever.
Yeah. I can ask you how you're doing, but I'm not going into, you know, not unless we've already had, I don't know, I guess you just have to feel it out. But the only way you can feel it out is if you really know that person. By that point, we've had deep conversations. Correct. We've had those conversations about what we were doing in the last 6 years we haven't talked.
And on top of that, too, I mean, even before we kind of fell out of touch, I think at that time, too, we had a disagreement of something. Something happened. And, you know, being able to come back from that, kind of just move past it. And I think that's like the only time we ever argued, or like we ever kind of, I don't want to say fought, because we didn't really fight about whatever. Right. It was something, I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, I guess I don't either. But I do remember us being able to talk through it.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And even at such a young age too, being able to like,
we value the friendship, you know,
discuss what we didn't appreciate or we didn't like about what the other did, and just being able to discuss it and then move on. Again, it's like our moms knew that we were going to, I mean, again, over 25 years of friendship, that's crazy.
Yeah. And even during the time that we weren't, I don't want to say speaking to, because then it makes it sound like we were intentionally not. It just when we like drifted apart.
Right. Our lives just were. We were doing different things at the time.
Yeah. Even with that, I feel like sometimes with friendships, when they are more intentionally separated, we can kind of sometimes take that personal, and sometimes it's not personal. You know, like sometimes that's just where we're at in our life,
right?
And that's hard not to, especially when it's like your confidant and the person that you really like lean on. I've learned in the past that when that happens, a lot of times it's God trying to get me to like lean on him. And that can be hard, because then you feel like, well, God, you blessed me with this friend,
right?
And now you're taking away this friend,
right? Yeah.
And I get you want me to lean on you, but like, who's my like confidant on earth?
Yeah.
You know,
asking for a friend.
Sometimes I feel like you don't talk back. Right. I just feel like a friend that talks back sometimes. Right. You know, that can be sometimes hard. During that time, did you have other best friends? For myself, I would say yes and no, not to the level that me and you were at. Even though, again, we were so young. Right. We literally talked about everything. So by the time I got to high school, it was hard to like rebuild friendships to that depth again. Right. And I just I don't know that I ever did.
Right. I can agree with the same thing. Did I have very close friends? Absolutely. I had a couple of very, very close friends. But you and me, we were just on this whole different level of friendship because of the fact that we essentially grew up together. Yeah. We did. And we saw each other every day. We were spending time together all the time because, you know, our families, we were spending time together. I would say yes, I did. But also, I couldn't speak the way that I could speak with you. You know, like I couldn't have that raw emotion with, you know, other people, because to me, I didn't feel comfortable like expressing that with somebody, because, you know, I was worried, you know, maybe it was going to come off different or something like that.
Yeah, you don't know how people are going to digest what you're saying.
So I did have closer friendships. I did have close friends. I did have best friends. But it's like that level of like sisterhood just was not there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, like, I have a sister, but at the time we weren't as close because there was a 5-year, I don't know how old she is. I don't know how. 5-year difference? We'll go with that. We'll make her younger.
Yeah. Okay. You're welcome.
I've said it more than that before, and she was like, we are not that far. So I don't know how old she is. Either way, 5 to 6 year difference, which when you're younger is a big maturity. Oh, like, gosh, there's a big difference in maturity.
That's my brothers too.
Yeah. And so we literally were like each other's sisters because we were a year apart. Right. And it was just like, but you know, like, that's kind of how it was, where it was just kind of like we were literally each other's sisters. Having that reunion back in college, like, literally was just like, oh my God. I was kind of the same way, where it was like, oh my God, I can breathe again. Yes. Thank God, because I know these girls think I'm crazy with the things that I say. So having the no judgment is really great.
And that's the biggest thing for me, was like, I can come to you with something totally out of pocket, totally crazy.
I'm a cosign.
You listen. You listen and you don't judge. You know that trend that's going? We listen and we don't judge. That 100%. We have been doing that since the age of 4 and 5. Literally.
I'm walking into the craziness with you. Listen, like, let's go. This sounds like a fun time.
I'm like, here's what happened. Here's what I'm going to do about it. And then you're my voice of reason that's like,
I'll drive you.
We're not going to do that, actually.
That's true.
Maybe when you're younger. Maybe when younger, you're like, absolutely, I'll grab my keys. Let's go.
Yeah, you're right.
But now, you know,
like, Alicia,
right?
Maybe not.
Settle down.
Yeah,
we're not gonna do that. We're not. We're bigger and better people. Yes. Like, one of us might be. You definitely. Not sure about me.
You know, We all have our moments.
My walk with God is a little different.
Listen, everyone's is, though. That's the other thing that I wanted to mention. I love that we're not in the same place. And I'm not saying one is higher than the other. That is not what I'm saying at all. We're in different places when it comes to our relationship with Christ. And on my end, I've always been very careful to not try to make anyone, whether it's you or anyone, if I'm really gung-ho in the moment in Christ, you know, because I go through moments sometimes, and I try to make it more consistent, but I'm human, okay? Calm down. But, you know, I always try to just make sure that where I'm at, I'm not imposing on other people. I don't feel, and that's what I love about our relationship, I don't feel like I have to diminish my relationship with Christ with you, or you know what I'm saying? Like, right. I don't feel like I have to do anything like that, but I also know that if I was to come to you and talk to you about something, you'd be like, so that's not what Jesus would want. You know? And I need that on my end. You know what I'm saying? Like, we both need that, where it's just like, listen, get it together, you know, but not imposing our beliefs in the sense of like, I'm gonna always tell you what I feel, right? And I'm gonna try to base it in the Bible always, and you would do the same thing. But I'm not sitting there like, you therefore need to be like that, otherwise we can't be friends,
right? Yes.
Like I feel like that probably would have put a riff in us a long time ago if that was the case. Yeah, you know, I know at one point. You were agnostic, right?
Yes, I was.
You know?
Yeah.
And I knew that.
Yep.
And it was like, all right, well, she's still Alicia.
Right. It was just that moment in my life where I was really troubled.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so toxic for the longest time. Was so toxic. And you let me be the way that I was, and you loved me no matter what. And you would express your opinions about things, but you always allowed me to make my own personal choice. At one point I did question. I'm like, how do we know though? You know, 100%. You know, I've had all this stuff going on in my life. Right. It does not feel like
he's there.
Yeah. It does not feel like he's there. It does not feel like, you know, however many prayers I send up there, it doesn't seem to be
they're stuck
doing anything. They're in the queue. I don't know. They got lost in the mail.
Is this a 500 wait list?
Right. I'm confused. Maybe I got the wrong address. I don't know.
Right. It's true though. It sometimes can feel like that. Yeah. And I think it would be silly to sit there and say we all haven't questioned, or we all haven't, you know, like, maybe some people questioned before they came to Christ, but there are also others that were born and raised in this that question later. Yeah, exactly. And I don't, you know, you have to give people time to figure him out for themselves. He has to show up in their life in order for them to see and realize that he's real. Right. Is there a moment that you can pinpoint that you felt like you were like, okay, he's probably real? You know, I don't know if you can think of or pinpoint a situation or a time, a season where you felt like he was.
I think it was because I struggled with that for a while actually. Yeah. I think it was when you drove up to Fond du Lac.
Yeah. Ooh.
That was like an eye-opening moment for me. Yeah. It was like a needed, necessary moment in my life. Yeah. That was like, by the grace of God, I have this friend who is willing to drive an hour and 20 minutes one way to be there for me, to just talk and to make sure I'm okay, and to, again, just be there in the moment and let me just go through every emotion that I was going through at the time and not judge me or tell me, well, this wouldn't have happened if you would have whatever, you know? Yeah. I think that for me was the moment, because it's like, I don't know if I would have anybody else. Maybe, I mean, my mom probably, but I mean, other than her, I really couldn't think of anybody else that would have been willing to make that drive.
Yeah, I was in a... Listen, we were going to war that day. I just was like, you know, in my mind, I was like, oh, no, you cannot have my best friend. No. Mm-hmm. And, but again, it was one of those things where I was like, I was telling you straight up, no, we are not doing that. Mm-hmm. We are not. but you knew it was out of a place of complete love for you, where it was like, no, I'm coming up there. You don't have a choice. I know where you stay. I know where you live. Also, we have each other's location. Right. I'm going to find you.
Right, exactly.
But it was, I was so grateful that you did call, and that you trusted me enough with that. Even if I was pregnant, I was like, I don't care. If I had my child, we were strapping up and going. That's just what it was, but also I 100% know you would do the same.
Yep, absolutely.
And you have been there. You've been there. I've gone through some dark. We've gone through dark times stories with each other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's like, again, it's like these perfect moments that we're together. I mean, now we've really been in contact all the time for a while now. I mean, constantly coming over here, whatever, going out to dinner, living our best lives as much as we possibly can.
As much as we can.
But it's like we've created this bond that I don't even know what would have I can't even imagine not having you as a friend. Yeah. Because it's like we've been through dark times together. Yeah. And we've been through successes, positive, great things in our lives together. So it's like, how do you kind of try to find something like that, you know?
I think it's been a transition to you being in a relationship and me being single, transitioning a lot of that trust, keeping the trust that we have, but then also like transitioning and on my end saying, maybe you should ask him, or you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I'll give you my opinion, but you should ask him. This affects him. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's also a transition too that sometimes can kind of cause a break in a relationship if you're not honest and open and talking about it and being like, it's got to change a little bit. Just because there's someone else in the picture. Right. Like, they're the third wheel for sure.
Right.
But
that's the thing. That part. That part. I said, I just want you to know, Bashy and I have been friends for a very, very, very long time. Like, I'm pretty sure that you know me like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
And I said, that third wheel feeling.
Yeah, it won't be us.
That's not going to go away.
But there's also respect. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
There's also respect in the sense of like,
absolutely.
You go and you have fun. I'm gonna be over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's also that respect, but we do also try to prioritize time together. Right. Exactly. Because we value the friendship, we value the relationship, and we know it's important to remain that way because we know that we are a God-given person for each other's life. Yes. It is. That season apart only led us to be so much closer. Yeah. And if we didn't trust that would happen, like I know that there were plenty of times where I thought about it and I was like, man, I wonder how Alicia's doing, or I wonder like what's going on, or how crazy high school is for her because it's crazy over here, But
and this is all too really before Facebook really blew up. Again, smartphones, like this is all kind of before it was readily available, the internet. Right. So it really was, I mean, I think that moment apart was really a good time for each of us to kind of grow as individuals. Yeah. So that when it was time for us to come back together, we would be able to uplift each other where one may have been lacking, the other is going to lift you up,
That's very true. And I think that we appreciated that connection that we had that much more. That time apart really did help us to just appreciate and know that we really can trust. Anything I told you didn't come out randomly one day. Nothing you told me came out randomly one day. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, that's important. Right. Because there are things, again, that we've told each other that we probably have not told other people. Oh, yeah. Or feelings or emotions or, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the fact that it wasn't being thrown through the streets or whatever. Yeah. Parker don't really have streets, but,
it wasn't. Down those aisles of the sanctuary.
Literally. Because it wasn't, we still then maintained trust coming back into the situation. Yep. And so you know, if there are people that are going through not even friendship breakups, but like friendship pauses, or maybe their friend is going and doing their thing and they're doing their thing, like still maintain that level of trust in the relationship by maintaining the integrity and the not secrets, but you know what I'm saying, like the things that they told you in confidence, they should remain that way, because at some point when you come back together, it's gonna be like it never. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then you have years of stories that you get to tell each other that you guys get to crack up about.
We do that all the time.
All the time. Where I'm like, oh my God, Alicia, I never told you that. It's like, it is crazy. You know? Or like you tell me something, I'm like, Alicia, what were you doing? You know?
The funniest thing though is just the fact that we're on the phone with each other, FaceTime or something, and we're not talking to each other. We're just existing on the phone together.
100%.
Or we're going off on these tangents where it's like any person outside of the two of us would be like, I'm not sure what's happening, but somebody needs some assistance, I think.
Yeah. 100%. It's a lot of insight.
Just the conversation, and then after we hang up and Andrew's like, you two are wild.
We've touched every subject.
Seriously, it's like, again, it's these little side quests that we go on. Like, I call you for a reason.
No one else is following.
Right, I call you for a reason, but also, here's these other things that I need to let you know about.
Oh my gosh, my favorites are like I'm in a store and I need your help trying to figure out what the heck I should buy. Those are my favorites. I'm just like, yes, I'm on it.
When I tell you, I don't think I think I maybe have a handful of clothing that I own that you did not tell me to buy. And people think I'm joking.
And they're good choices.
Actually, they are.
They're good choices.
I still have them.
Yes. Listen, you buy your docs. I really have no input on those.
Right. Correct.
But they look great with all the things that we've chosen for clothes.
Exactly. See, it's that.
It works.
The best thing about knowing somebody for so long.
And then you choose the restaurants, which really works because I don't go anywhere in my life, so it's great.
It really is.
It works out. We know our strengths, and we lean into those with each other.
We stay in our lane.
Yeah, we stay in our lane. Like Katri's like, this is all I want you to do. I just want you to move back and forth. That's it. That's all you're doing.
Just a 2-step.
Yeah.
We're just staying right here, staying in our lane.
Yeah, that has been a true. I just, anytime I think of it, I'm just like, oh, like I really do. Again, it was one of those things where it was like God drew us back together at the perfect time. And even with, you know, your mom going through and you know, being cancer free and just all those different things, like then we got to celebrate that.
Right, the triumphs.
You know, yes. Like, and that is such a victory too. Like, friendship is not just about the lows, but man, like being able to be there for the highs and like seeing you happy, seeing you in a good place, you know, seeing you successful at work, seeing you elevate in just all these different areas. Like, man, to sit there and just be like, I was just able to see it. I really didn't have a part, but I was able to see it. Like, that to me is so cool because first off, you would want that for anyone.
Yeah.
But
oh gosh, yeah.
Getting that and seeing that for your best friend, you're like, go sis.
Right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, that is just such a blessing, and sometimes I feel like we I don't want to say take that for granted, but sometimes we forget about those moments too, and those moments are just as great. If you can't celebrate me, I wonder.
Right, we're not the one.
Yeah, because in the highs you should also be just as there or happy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's important. We have to be able to celebrate each other, or I don't know if I've ever been jealous because we're just so different but yet so similar.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like it again.
I don't think I've ever I mean I don't think I've ever felt that you were jealous, and I don't think I really have ever felt that way either. No, because again, we've just built that foundation of friendship for years. And it's just second nature to say, you did that, and I'm so proud of you. Right.
And then you think of, okay, you surrounding yourself with great people.
Right. Yes.
So eventually, that's going to come in and affect you too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I love that we're both, we don't feel, and I should, I guess, talk for myself, but I don't feel like I'm dragging the friendship along, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like either one, like, both of us are motivated. We're both, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're both go-getters in that way. We both work too much.
And do.
We both went through seasons of that where I'm just like, I can't even sit here and tell you to sit down because that was me in college with 4 jobs. Like, I can't even say, I get it. There's a season for that. And so it's like, okay, well, this is what I did that helped me get through it.
Right.
You know, like, and go, sis, this is your time. You don't have any kids. You're not married. Like, go and do it now. Go stack. Go do what you got to do.
Right.
You know, but also I love that it's growing in other ways too. Like with us being able to share devotionals, which I meant to send you one today, but just being able to share devotionals and write in there, and that's a different part of our relationship that we haven't really dove into too much. We have had talks and it's been great. But I also know, again, it's your own personal walk. So, but being able to have that where it's like, man, like, this is something I've prayed for as far as, you know, you having that walk or you growing in that way, just because I know it'll help you. It helped me so much.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And that's the thing too. It's like, it's our friendship has matured with us.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're stuck in this era of our friendship. It's like, as we've gotten older, which most people are like, well, yeah, of course you guys are going to mature, but it's like,
but not always.
Yes, mature as people, but like our, you know, sometimes it seems like friendships get stuck.
They stall out.
Right, exactly. But with ours, it's like we've matured within our friendship as well. So it's like being able to talk about those things that we never really talked about before. Yeah. And being able to freely discuss it. And you being my voice of reason when I start getting a little out there and just reeling me back in. Like, no, don't do that. We're not going to do that. We're better people.
Okay, but the only reason why I can do that is because I was already there. I already went crazy, you know? Like, I already did that. And I'm like, so I can tell you from experience, this is not the way to go, you know? But, so, yeah, who am I to judge you when I myself walked there similar or something else where it was just like, yeah, that probably wasn't it. That probably wasn't smart. And again, there are things where it's just like, that is between me and you alone. I wouldn't dare to tell nobody else that. Right. But having that trust, and like you said, I think the maturing thing is really important because sometimes it can stall out because you don't see past where it currently is, or you can't see, you know what I'm saying? Like there has been many a nights where I've prayed and I've just been like, Lord, show her. You know what I'm saying? Not in like a sense of like she needs her, but you know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, again, I know what you've done for me. I know the change you made in my life. I know the peace you've given me. Give that to her however you see fit, you know? And sometimes that can be a dark journey, but place people in her life that are going to be there for her. Let me be a person that's there for her, or you know what I'm saying? Vice versa. I'm not saying this is all, you know, whatever, but that's a prayer simply because I have, you know, like I love you and I'm not going to sit there and want something to happen to you that you feel like there's no way out. You know what I'm saying? And like we've all been there, and I don't want that for you. So that was my prayer. And so seeing some of those prayers being answered is great. And having that friendship where I feel like we'll come back to this every single time, like can literally just say the most off the wall things. That's like,
and I say correct.
Yeah, and we stand by it.
Yes. Immediately, yes.
Yeah.
And people that hear our conversations, because we don't talk quietly. No. We don't have a whisper.
Not at all.
People that hear our conversations are probably like, these two people, they need something. I'm not sure what, but it's something that is needed in their lives.
So we both have had interesting, I'm going to pivot a little bit. We both have had interesting relationships with our parents. Again, very similar.
Yes.
We are both just like our fathers.
100%.
And our poor moms. You know, it's just...
It has taken me up until, 3 years ago to come to that realization that I am my dad.
Yeah, 100%.
And when people would tell me, you were just like your dad, I'd be like,
that's rude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Right. I do.
Yeah,
I do now.
100% see it.
I'm so sorry, Mom.
Yeah. It's true. Like, what? Okay, so for me, I was told that, first off, I looked like the man, which was downfall number one. And then I acted like him on top of it. Like, it was a lot. And I know for a while, again, for you too, it was just us with our parents in the house for a good couple of years. Like, it wasn't even like it was like 1 or 2 years and then we were out too. Like, nah, we were there without siblings for a good little bit. So we kind of have like the youngest sibling and like the only sibling syndrome sometimes. And it's an interesting dynamic with our parentals. But how would you say, like, has your opinion of has your perspective of your parents changed the older you get? Like, do you see them in a different light than when you were younger?
110%. I mean, I used to think that my dad just liked to boss people around. Genuinely. And if my dad's listening, I'm sorry, but it's true.
He does like you.
But I used to think that because he would just talk to you in a way that it felt like you were his employee, or like you were someone that he felt needed this heavy hand, you know?
Yeah, very direct.
But now as I'm older and I've gone through the journey that I have gone through, I have learned that, you know, he is that way because he wants the best for me.
Right.
He wants me to be able to continue to be independent, continue to be a hard worker, continue to make, you know, the best choices that I can for myself for the future. And, you know, he doesn't know how to express that any other way than, this is what you should do. I mean,
he's not giving you direction if he doesn't love you, or if he doesn't see potential or proud of even where you already are.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's learning that my dad is coming 110% from a good place. Yeah. It's just the delivery is a little different. Yeah. Little less tactful.
Yeah. I both of our fathers are not the lovey-dovey kind. They're not give me a hug. You know what I'm saying? Like, high five, maybe. Right. Like
the old pat on the shoulder. Literally. You did it. Thumbs up.
A text, maybe later.
Yes.
Saying good job.
Yep. Like, exactly.
They're just not that way. And I think we both kind of took it. We were both offended by it for years because we didn't understand it. Right. Even though we ourselves are not lovey-dovey.
Right, I can't remember a single time. I think we've hugged twice in our lives.
I literally don't even remember when that was.
I really don't know either. I think my mom made me give you a hug.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, so it's funny that we would be offended by that when we don't do it.
Right, exactly. And it's like, that was why my dad and I had such a tough relationship after softball ended and everything like that. Yeah. Because there was nothing, we were exactly the same. So opinionated, so strong-willed, strong-minded.
And softball's how you guys connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just created such a stressed relationship that it took me, you know, moving and being far apart and coming back and realizing he's saying this because he's worried about me.
Right.
He's saying this because he wants what's best for me. Right. You know, he wants me to succeed. And the same thing goes for my mom, you know. My mom and I, and she will attest to this, I really, really just laid into her when I was younger. I was kind of a wild child. Shocker. I know, shocking. But she had so much patience for me. Mm-hmm. And I can't thank her and my dad enough for allowing me to learn from everything that I did when I was younger. Yes, they were there. Yes, they grounded me. Yes, that tough love. But also, it turned me into an individual who I'm able to say proudly, I have a great work ethic. I have great examples of what hard work and dedication in this is like. Mm-hmm. You know, my mom, she taught me, you know, grace, how to take things, you know, with grace, how to carry myself with grace. Yep. You know, being able to hone my dad-like personality into a leader, you know, into this person that I can relate to people. I'm a people person. Mm-hmm. I get people. And that's a big part because of my mom. Because although, yes, she is a lot quieter than me.
She's definitely a people person, though.
She is. For sure. Everybody loves her. Yeah. Everybody appreciates her. Yeah. And there's not a single person that I know that would say a single bad word about her. Yeah. And I think learning that from her has helped me in my professional career and even personal life too. It's like being able to hear your opinion on things and not judge you for it. It's your opinion. I love that for you. But I would say with my parents, I'm so thankful for the way that they were and allowing me to learn and grow from the crazy teenager that I was into younger 20s to now. It's like I don't know where I would be if they didn't raise me the way that they did.
Yeah, I even think I sometimes say like the best thing my dad did was to let me go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some things that we just have to learn. Yes. We just have to stumble through. We just have to fall through. Mm-hmm. We just have to crack our head open to. Like, there are just some things we are just not going to learn. Right. Unless we do that with our type of personality. Like, with a strong personality, you know, think we know it all. Yes. Which I like to think we do, but we do not. But you know what I'm saying? Like, and when parents understand that and know that, like, okay, I've given you all that I can give you, and this is just what you're deciding to do. You got to do it outside of my house. Yes. Like, that is, and it seems so cruel in the moment, and I'm sure that gave them anxiety, because, like, where are my kids going? Absolutely. What are they doing? Yep. But, like, we figured it out always. You have, like, parents have to trust that they raise their kids well enough, even if they're not, as best as they could, and well enough to handle. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you've prepared them as much as you can. Yep. What they go out and do at the end of the day is on them. Right. You know, and like, if you're deciding to go and do this and do that, and you know what I'm saying, that doesn't speak to you as a parent, especially when you've done the things necessary to prepare them for life. There are just some things we're going to go learn and do on our own. Yep. You know? And I think, especially being able to give it a year or two, see where your kid is at. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I bet you they're flourishing more than they were.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, my mom is my best friend. Yeah. I tell her pretty much everything. Like, 100%. We will talk about things that I used to do when I was younger. Right. And she would just say, she's like, you know, I just constantly prayed for you that you would be safe. Yes. Because we are so strong-willed. Yeah. We're going to do what we want to do, whether you like it or not. And I know that gave my mom anxiety to just let me do it. Yeah. But she had to, so that I learned, like, okay, this isn't for me. Yeah. Same thing with my dad. In his own way, he was worried. He was concerned. Yeah. He expressed it differently. Yeah. And I didn't like it because no one's going to tell me what to do. So I'm so grateful for my parents, and I'm so grateful that they allowed me to go through what I did, because...
And they never, like, killed your strong will. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were like, okay, well, there's a consequence for that. Yep, go ahead. You know, like, but they didn't, like, demean you and cause you to be insecure with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, there are times where we're offended and we're just like, what do they know? As if they haven't lived for 50 years. Right. But they didn't. There are ways to demean your children. They didn't do that. And it felt like it at the moment because it was discipline in general, and discipline never feels great. But I look back and I'm like, they could have definitely handled it different. Yes. And I wouldn't have turned out the way that I did. I'm glad they handled it the way that they did. Yeah.
It was tough love.
Strong-willed need tough love. Yes. That's just what it is.
100%.
I don't know a strong-willed person that a soft tone, you know, like, yes, a soft word turns, the Bible says a soft word turns away wrath, but you can still be direct in that soft tone. Like, we still had mad respect for our mothers.
My mom still terrifies me.
Terrifies me.
And she's so tiny now. Yeah. But she pinches so hard.
Yeah, what is with... I think it's the tiny fingers.
I think it is.
Because my mom... Listen.
Because she knows, I'm like, Mom, I will pick you up.
Yeah, 100%.
I will pick you up. And then she pinches you. And it's like...
I'm done. Yeah. Yeah. My mom used to call them Incas. And she would just do this in church. Like, she would just act like she's pinching you in church. And that was enough. Like, I was like, all right, well, I have to behave now because... It's insane. It feels like a punch.
Seriously.
Like, what?
Yeah. Seriously. Like, I'm like, Mom, I understand now. You raised 2 Marines. And me. Yeah. Enough said.
2 soldiers and me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's... Yeah. I get it now. I understand why you were the way that you were. But, I mean, look at all of us
But
now.
2 parenting styles that both worked.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and one just seemed to seep into the core of who you are faster. Mm-hmm. The other one took a little second for you to realize, oh, that was love. And I'm saying that for me too. Like, it was easy for me to know my mother loved me, even though I was disrespectful and said what you know what I'm saying? Like, but I never questioned if she loved me.
Right.
I questioned if my dad did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, me too.
Same. You know what I'm saying? Same. But now it's just like, well, no, literally anytime I called, he was there. Anytime, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to think about those things and you're like, okay, no, that makes total sense. It just looked different.
Right. We didn't want to see it that way almost, you know, because of our moms. So, I totally agree with that. Looking back at it, I'm like, no, my dad genuinely was looking out for me. Yeah. And he said it that way because he knew there was no other way it was going to get through my brain unless he said it that way or worded it that way.
It's true. Our mothers definitely were a show of grace, and our dads were definitely shows of strength.
Yes, 100%.
And both are strong. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like they it just was different ways of showing it, and that was something I could walk through with you because I had just walked through it with my dad again. Like, it was just like, yeah, I've been there. Right. He doesn't hate you, but it does feel like it. Yep. Yeah, I felt that. You know, we both essentially got kicked out at one point.
Yeah.
And should have been. We were acting crazy.
I know. I look back at it because, like, you know, at the time we were like, you totally feel like it was so not necessary. And then I really look back, or like I talked to Andrew about it, and I'm like, that's wild. That I didn't think that was a big deal.
But I thought they just had to sit here and deal with it because I was a child.
Why would they want to do that? And then I look and I'm like, no, that makes sense now.
I would kick me out.
I understand. Even my mom and I talk about it now too.
Yeah. Oh, me and my dad too.
Oh, yeah. My mom and I talk about it, and I'm like, yeah, you know, Mom, I get it.
I understand.
I get it. I'm sorry.
It's true though, because you're just like, you know, and fine. Again, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, of course the child is going to feel betrayed. Fine. And when they grow up and mature, they're going to realize you did it out of love for them. Right. And if they were going to keep... Because keeping them in your house is enabling them. At the end of the day, it just is what it is. Like, you're enabling actions that are not healthy for anyone involved. They're not healthy for you being the parent in your own home, stressing, not being able to sleep, not being able to do anything that you want to do because you have a kid that will fly off the handle at any point or, you know, whatever.
Right.
Like, and then... But at the same time, like, you also don't want them to leave because Lord knows how they're going to act out there. Trust me, I'm not flying off the handle in places I don't feel safe in.
Right.
There is some control. Even though we act like we don't have control at home, there is some level of control. I'm not stupid.
Right.
I'm not. If I feel like you're not going to do anything at home, I'm going to fly off.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, you know, in that immaturity. But I wasn't flying off at work. I wasn't flying off at school. I wasn't flying off, you know what I'm saying, in these other environments.
Crazy. Yeah. Outside of these four walls.
Yeah. And so sometimes it's like, no, in order for you to get your peace back, they got to go. And I will say that till I'm blue in the face. One of the best things my dad could have did was yeah, you gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
And I matured real quickly after that. In the sense of, like, my behavior matured real quick after that. Because I'm not getting anywhere in life by acting like this.
Being that way.
Yeah, by being so angry, by being so whatever. Right. And then, like, again, there were friends that were just like, yeah, you should probably chill out. You're doing a lot. You know, or, like, again, people that had walked through it that they were like...
Right.
Yeah, you'll see in, like, a year your dad's right.
One, I feel like, too, the friends that I had, like, in high school... going into college really didn't feel like it was their place to say that.
Yeah.
And that's where I had you, where you were like, no,
chill out.
You're being crazy, actually. You need to, like, you're going to do what you want, but I'm going to tell you that's not, I feel like you can approach this differently.
Yeah.
I always say that you're my voice of reason because I will fly off the handle, even now still. I'm like, no, I think I'm going to do this. No, I don't think so.
Call me first.
Right.
Thank you. No, it's true. It is just such a God-given relationship. And I'm so grateful for it. In this season, you being able to be here when my daughter's growing up and just all these different things. Like, it is just, it's so great. Even though she still calls you Emma, it's fine. No, the other day she said your name. Without calling you Emma first.
She did, yeah.
Emma is Alicia's dog. And anytime she sees Alicia, Emma should be there with her.
Yes.
Even though she won't touch Emma.
The look on her face the last time I came over and Emma was not with me. She was like,
why are you here?
Yeah, you should come back with the dog. Let's
try this again.
It was crazy. Yeah. But I'm like, I understand because people did know me for a while as Emma's mom.
It's okay, I'm Kathy's mom. Yeah. So it's fine.
It's fine. I mean, I love the fact that we are a part of each other's lives right now because of the fact that I get to see you be a fantastic mom. I get to see you raise your daughter in the most amazing way possible. And I love being a part of it because Kati, I always joke, Kati's my child, you're just raising her for me.
Period.
I love her to death, and I think it's just the greatest thing ever. And I really genuinely did not believe you when you said you were gonna have a child.
Seriously, no one did. Like, no one did. I'm like, do I joke around that much? And the answer is yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I
do.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was kind of bizarre, but I'm just. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Okay, so I have ending segments that I've been doing at the end of the pods, and the first one is a little confusing. I gotta figure out a different way to explain it, but it is what it is. It's called This I Know, and how it goes is I don't know much, but this I know. So I'll go so that you can see. I don't know much, but this I know. When it is a God-ordained friendship, it will always come back better and bigger and better than ever before.
Okay.
So you just say a statement after I don't know much, but this I know, like something that's a true statement in your life.
Okay.
Can be anything.
Okay. I don't know much, but this I know. Genuine friendship matures with you.
That's good.
It allows growth from each individual and then brings you together to share that growth together.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
So then,
I agree. One of the other ones is this or that. And this one is you're just picking one or the other. Okay?
Oh, okay.
It's funsies.
Okay. I'm excited.
Okay. Cheese or hummus?
Oh my gosh, you hit me with that one right away.
Is that hard?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was going to be easy. I love both.
It depends on what kind of hummus.
100%, and what kind of cheese.
Correct.
It depends.
So
You're
it's
right.
tough. I mean, I would pick cheese if it's sharp cheddar.
Oh. Like
extra
hits
sharp.
Hits you in your...
Right in the jawbone.
Yeah, sharp cheddar is good. Mom used to always eat sharp cheddar with M&Ms. Like the sweet and salty.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Andrew makes this cheesy hash brown bake with like freshly grated sharp cheddar.
Yeah. The best.
Gosh, it's so delicious. Yeah. I actually might ask him to make it again.
What kind of hummus do you like? All the types?
I like the red pepper, roasted red pepper.
So good.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I do love that. It's so yummy. I never thought I'd like hummus, but
it's so good.
I love
it's
it.
So good.
Basketball or football?
Basketball. 100%.
Period. Donuts or Pop-Tarts?
Donuts.
You're not a Pop-Tart fan?
I like Pop-Tarts, but it depends on the flavor. Like, I like, and y'all can come at me for this one. I really like the brown sugar ones.
Yummy.
The cinnamon brown, or whatever it is.
Brown sugar, brown sugar?
Yeah, that one.
Or is that oatmeal?
Girl, I don't
Whatever.
know.
I think it's brown sugar.
You know which one I'm talking about.
It's one of my favorite. Who will come at you?
There have been plenty of people coming at me.
They don't like it?
They're like, ew.
Well, they don't have taste buds, so.
I also really like the sundae one. I don't know what it's called. The chocolate fudge sundae. I like that one too.
It has like stripes.
Yes.
In like the inside.
Yes, and then the only one that I will put in the, what do you call it?
Toaster?
The toaster is the chocolate chip ones.
Oh,
it's life changer.
You don't put any of the other ones in the toaster?
No. Do you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not me.
Sometimes I can eat them straight though. Like listen.
A little bit of milk.
Huh. We listen and we don't judge. That's what I'm gonna say on that.
Except for certain words that I
say. Okay, wait. So Pop-Tarts or toaster strudel? Oh God.
I've never had a toaster strudel before in my life.
I was gonna say streusel. That wasn't right. Toaster strudel.
Strudel. There's a D in there.
You've never had one?
Never in my life.
They're delicious. I still love Pop-Tarts more, which is very controversial. Most people like toaster strudels more.
I've never had those before in my life. I don't even know what they are. Are they like little Hot Pockets?
Kind of. They're more pastry. Like
a Danish?
But like heated up essentially. Thinner. Like a Pop-Tart, but a little thicker than a Pop-Tart. But it is like there's like an inside jam almost. And then it goes in the toaster and it heats up. It's like a warm Danish. That honestly doesn't sound good, but it is good.
It sounds so
It's like
strange.
a warm Danish, but no.
Yeah, if you guys could see my face right now,
that wasn't a good explanation.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to.
But I've never had one before. We might have to go to the store and try it.
Yeah, we just might have to, because now I need to know if you like it more than Pop-Tarts. Because then I will judge. So, licorice or gummy bears?
What kind of licorice?
I'm sorry?
Twizzlers? This
is not a question. Twizzlers? Is Twizzlers count? I don't think Twizzlers counts as a licorice.
Then definitely gummy bears.
I think Red Vine's like a licorice.
Oh, I'm not the biggest fan. I like Twizzlers.
Good.
If that's counted as licorice. If it's not, 100%
gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Are there specific ones?
The Haribo ones?
Yeah.
Not the sugar-free Haribo ones. Have you ever read the comments on Amazon?
Yes.
I have. When I'm having a bad day, I look those up.
Because what are you doing?
The
That's
imagery,
diabolical.
The imagery in these comments.
Okay, wait. Steak or lobster?
That's a toughie too.
I knew this one would be tough for you. I don't think I've ever had lobster.
Lobsters, if it's made correctly,
right?
If it's not,
but the same thing with
overdone. Steak. Yeah, that's the thing. It depends. Like if I'm in like Oklahoma or somewhere in the South, steak. If I'm on the East Coast, West Coast,
100%
lobster.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, again,
we need to make a trip to Maine. Like we have to.
Lobster rolls.
I'm only eating lobster in Maine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, then we should probably start planning now.
We probably should.
Honestly. We plan our trips based off of what we're in the mood for.
What we want to eat. 100%. Everything is based around what we want to eat. And that's why we get along so well, because we're never hangry with each other.
Our Airbnb, what's the restaurants closest to this
Airbnb? Seriously. Because if you're in the middle of that's not it. That's not the one for me.
Right.
Soda or juice?
Juice.
100%.
Juice.
100%. Soda's very overrated. Also, you feel bloated, and juice is just more yummy.
I enjoy the occasional Sprite.
Yeah, like maybe a good carbonation.
Maybe a Mountain Dew here and there, but I try to stay away from soda.
Yeah.
I mean, not that,
same.
Juice has a whole bunch of sugar in it too, but...
Yeah, it's fine.
Cranberry apple juice, I'm here for it.
Yum. McMuffin or McGriddle? This I'm judging.
McMuffin.
100%.
McGriddles are like, do your teeth feel
Why would you
so
do that?
weird after you eat a McGriddle?
That's insanity. Why would you ever eat that? Why do your teeth feel weird?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I wonder if it's just the different textures.
I wonder if it's just like the syrup.
The graininess? Oh.
It's like, I don't even know how to explain how my teeth feel after I eat a McGriddle. And it's too filling.
It's a lot. It's
way too filling.
A lot of sugar.
It is. And I think that's why my teeth feel weird. You know how sometimes
like a coat almost?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it. It's not for me.
Yeah. Text or phone call? Neither. FaceTime.
Yeah. Is there an option C?
Voice note. I need...
There are things that you need to know via voice note or FaceTime.
Yeah.
Like, they're...
100%.
I cannot properly express, like, the whole Sunday school lesson.
That was crazy. Yeah, you have to hear it. It can't be...
I can't express that in a text.
And if I'm going to call you, I might as well FaceTime.
Correct. Yes, because why else?
What else is there?
That's a toughie. I would say text just because...
It's more convenient.
Correct. Yeah. I'm not going to sit there with my phone.
What?
That's crazy.
I haven't done that in years. I haven't held the phone to my ear in years. If I can't speaker it, we're not on the phone.
Yeah. I need to find my headphones because that's that part.
Yeah. That is it. Out to eat or eat at home?
Again,
Depends.
Are we what is our plan for the day?
That's fair.
Am I coming over to sit on your couch while you clean?
Right.
Then we're definitely going to DoorDash.
Right.
Or are either one of us texting, hey, you want to go here with me?
Because then we're for sure going out.
We're obviously going to go to Olive Garden
100%.
or Maggiano's or something.
100%. I know. As I was writing that one, I was like, we're not going to have an answer for that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. A lot of these it's situational.
Yeah. It's very true. Especially because when we're both not feeling it, we're not going.
Correct.
That's just what it is.
Correct.
We will get something at home and we will feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
absolutely.
I'm just not going to feel bad about it.
Right.
Movie or arcade? I don't think I've ever seen you in an arcade.
Yeah, I've been around one.
Okay.
I mean, I told Andrew, I'm like, I think that would be like a fun date night thing, going to round one and just like, having a blast at those things. But like, if I had a choice, probably movies because I loved going to movies all the time. Yeah, I love movies.
Yeah, I think mine would also be movie.
But I think as like a fun date night, just like to get out of the house, I think arcade would be kind of fun. Although, I don't know, I'm pretty competitive.
I was going to say, I don't know, you're competitive. I think you would have fun. I think Andrew would not, potentially.
He'd be like, we're never doing that again, actually.
We're not doing that again.
How strong is your relationship? Go to an arcade.
No, for real. Like, that's a good test. That's a good test. That was my last question for that one. That was fun. I meant to ask you earlier, this is a really random question, and I don't know if it's still the same, or if we've ever discussed, no, I think we have discussed this. What is your top 2 love languages?
Oh gosh, we definitely have discussed this actually because I think we're pretty much we're kind of similar.
Yeah.
Mine is quality time
for sure,
and acts of
service.
Yes, those are usually. Yeah, I would say, and then words of affirmation are kind of up there too, but mostly like quality time and acts of service for sure.
Yeah, I think words of affirmation for me, if it's like my parent, or like my spouse, you know what I'm saying, like someone close to me, then words of affirmation are important. But I think honestly, it changed to acts of service. It was quality time and words of affirmation for me, but. As I've matured, acts of service are...
Absolutely,
I think they've taken over.
Well, I think you and I really have discussed this in depth.
Yeah.
About you can say everything under the moon.
Yep.
But if there's no action following those words, it doesn't really mean anything. Mm-mm. So that, I think I agree. As I've gotten older, it's like, wow, actually, acts of service is probably... biggest thing for me because again
it gives permanency to your words.
Correct. Right. Like
I would agree.
You don't want to be disappointed in hearing all of this that your partner is saying and then it doesn't actually happen. Oh, for sure.
I would agree with that. Okay, last one is grateful, and we just named 3 things we're grateful for. We go back and forth. So you go first.
I am grateful for you.
Oh, I'm grateful for you.
Oh, cute. Yes, so grateful. Again, 20-some years of friendship.
Yeah, that's insane.
We have been through everything together.
Back.
Honestly,
Truly.
We have not. I don't really know. I can't picture my life without you at this point.
Yeah. Agree. Definitely agree. I am so grateful for my upbringing at your home. I tell people this all the time. It really did ground me very young. Like, it really did. I really embraced the silence growing up like that. And I know that wasn't everybody's experience, especially living in the city. It's just not it's never quiet.
Yeah.
And I have such a appreciation for the silence, for nature, for hard work. Like, they will put us to work.
Yes.
And I appreciate animals. Like, truly. And that was in large part, like 90% your guys' home. So I definitely appreciate that.
I would say I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for my parents.
Yes.
For the tough love that they provided me growing up, because I would say that really molded me as a person.
Yeah.
To be able to handle situations. And just overall allowing me to learn those tough lessons, but also being there from a reasonable distance to make sure that when I stumbled, they were there to help me, pick me back up.
Very true. Very true. That's a good one. I would say my last one is I am grateful for our parents not killing our strong will. I think it really has, obviously, and that is never outside of God's grace. Let's be clear. That is never outside of God's grace. But I think it really has carried us. How he created us really has, he knew better than we could ever. And so I am so grateful that our parents provided space for us, like you were saying, to grow and learn. And they didn't demean us in a way that would cause us to be insecure within ourselves. I think that has been
absolutely
so beneficial.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes, absolutely. I would say I'm thankful for our moms.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for them. Because without them, your mother, my mother, they saw something 26 years ago that they said, these two, they need each other in their lives.
Yeah.
And that could be that's 100% true, because again, we have been through dark times, we have been through our triumphs, everything. And at this point it's like, did it happen if I didn't tell you? Like, is it real life if I didn't tell Vashti what happened?
Right. Yeah, it's not official.
It's not a thing until Vashti knows.
Same. I'm like, girl, let me call Alicia real quick.
Right, is this real life?
No, it's so true. Oh, they are the best, and I am just so grateful for you being on here today. That was so much fun.
Oh my gosh,
I've been wanting to do it for a while.
I think this was the most fun I've had since we last hung out.
Yeah.
Literally. I'm really hoping that we do it again, because that was so much fun.
Yeah, and I this was very dialed down. We did good.
Yes, I will say we usually say some pretty out of pocket stuff, but
it's out of pocket most
we
days.
were
that was so good. Well, thank you for coming on, and I appreciate everyone for listening. And don't take for granted your friendships. Don't take for granted your relationships. Allow the space and trust that God will bring them back. So we love you guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.